Hey there, friends and family. We're back at it here, and unfortunately, this weekend we're not out on the trail once again. It kind of sucks because I did really want to go do a shakedown run after the lift. We were hoping to go up and get into Niagara Rim, but there's like a little storm rolling through California this weekend, so we're gonna hunker this one down. But it's gonna give me the advantage to go do some crawling over at Costco and Home Depot. So I kind of just wanted to take advantage of that opportunity and go through my 2-year, 50,000 mile kind of review and give you my honest opinion on what ownership has been like with me and my Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. Kind of go through the details of why I did decide to choose the Rubicon trim level. I'll go through and give you some of the driving characteristics. I'll let you know what kind of specifications mine came with from the dealership. I'll also include cost of maintenance that it costs me to maintain the Gladiator. I'll let you know what I pay for insurance and kind of what I pay for gas and already. So yeah, for the most part, this is my daily driver. I use it for work, to get to and from work. I don't actually do work with it, but I do go out and have fun with it. I use it to run my daily errands, and it definitely helps out if I have to do some workout around the house. I love having the Gladiator truck or the truck platform still around the house. It kind of really sucks not having a truck around the house. So this definitely flips the bill for us. It's a 5-foot bed and it's more than enough for us. So I love it so far. I'll wrap it up and let you know some of the pros and cons that I have with the vehicle as well. Also, so rude of me, and my apologies, but again, I haven't introduced myself properly. My name is Francisco. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you continue to join me in my journey and expanding, again, my knowledge and experiences with my Jeep Gladiator. We do have a Jeep JL as well, but I think that this channel will definitely primarily be content on I would like to do some gear review. I'll do reviews on my off-road trips, and then continue to do content with the Gladiator for sure on my expansion again on knowledge, and as it grows itself as well, whenever I do decide to put different modifications, or if something changes and goes wrong, I'll also definitely let you know that. My promise to you is that I will always keep it honest. I hope that I can kind of give the knowledge and experiences that I've gone through, so that way you can maybe learn from my trial and error and make a little better decisions. But yeah, definitely, if there's ever something that I do review on, it'll definitely be my honest review. I will try my best not to lead you in the wrong direction, but anywho, let's go out and knock this Costco trip out. Alrighty, to kick it off, I'm gonna go through and go ahead and give you some my opinions on the driving characteristics. On this little portion, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the mic and see if I can capture some of the ambient noise and kind of give you a little better perspective on definitely the feedback and noise that you get inside the cab from the road. Alrighty, so again, it is raining today. Nothing too heavy just yet. Definitely a light, steady rain. And yeah, you can definitely hear it on the roof. Again, I think everybody's first complaint typically goes to the excessive wind noise that you get when you're driving a Jeep. And that's throughout any of the platforms of the Wranglers or the Gladiators. I do have the hard top, as you can see, and again, you just got to remember that it is fiberglass. It is less noisy than a soft top would, but I think it definitely helps dampen that noise. And then you can get the liners as well. I personally don't have them just yet. It's been something that's been on my list that I've been wanting to grab, but I have heard that those do help out a little bit on kind of reducing the noise that's coming into the cab. But other than that, honestly, it's not a big complaint or anything like that in my opinion, because I mean, if I have a passenger, like me and my wife can easily hold a conversation, no issues. If I am using the hands-free setting on the radio, like where you have to talk into the mic. Typically they can hear me very well. I don't see an issue of them having a hard time hearing me or anything like that. So I can easily have a conversation on the phone still and be able to hear them clearly, and then again, whoever's on the other side of the line can hear me fairly clearly as well. So that's not an issue for me, at least. Your tire choice is going to be highly influencing the noise that you're going to be getting back into the cab. I mean, again, I'm running all trains right now, the Mickey Thompson Baja Bosses. But when I originally bought it, the OEM tires that came with it were the Falcon AT3s. And it was a good tire. It was a 33-inch tire, but it was very quiet and smooth. I had no complaints there at all. If I would have kept it stock, I think I would have been super happy with those tires. So definitely keep that in mind. So if you go all train and mud train, it is going to be even louder here inside the cab. Alrighty, next with my engine and drivetrain, I ended up going with a 3.6 Pentastar gas engine, and paired up to that is the 8-speed automatic. I think it's a really good combo in my opinion. You know, I have no issues with merging or having to pass people up if I need to. So yeah, I mean, 3.6 gas and 8-speed automatic is what I went with. Alrighty, Costco trip check. And yeah, I don't know if you can tell here or not, but this backup camera on this thing is insane. Super crystal clear. I love that thing. The ride characteristics that I've experienced with it, I have had no issues with any kind of wanderness or sloppy steering or anything like that. To me, it's been plenty smooth. Nothing that's not manageable or anything like that. Even on long road trips, again, you know, I can just cruise her down the highway with one hand, and that's easily going 65, 70 max is what I usually cruise at. And again, it's just no issue, you know, there's no, I got no slop in my steering for sure. It's not something that I've ever encountered. I do know there was a issue with the earlier Gladiators having a, they had an aluminum steering box instead of the updated steel box. But it seems like they kind of addressed and fixed that issue. And again, that's all. I know it's gonna scare some people when they're lifting their Jeep. You know, they might be kind of like hesitant to go ahead and do that lift. And if you haven't watched my previous video, again, I'm riding a 4.5-inch lift on 35-inch tires right now, and again, I'm no issue driving down the highway and tracking straight. And another thing that I love is the view that I get here from my driver's view. I feel like it's fairly open, pretty minimal on your blind spots. I've had vehicles that are a lot worse, but for the most part, you know, you kind of get that nice open view. Alrighty, so yeah, that kind of wraps up the driving experience that I've had, or driving characteristics that I've experienced with my Jeep Gladiator. And again, so far it's been a great ride, and a comfortable ride at that. There's a little issue that I am gonna address when I go through the portion of the interior, but I thankfully was able to get something to kind of mitigate that. Alrighty, so next I think we'll go over basically what it costs me to operate the Gladiator on a weekly basis, and kind of just go over the cost of me purchasing it as well, and then what it costs me to insure and maintenance it. Again, yeah, so I daily commute this to my work, and I drive 37 miles one way, so 74 miles round trip. Right now I'm averaging about 17 miles to the gallon easily on the freeway, which is primarily freeway driving for me. And then on the way home, I typically take back it's an open country road pretty much. I have a couple stops here and there, a little more stop and go, but for the most part, it's wide open, and you know, I could just cruise through it. Freeway there, easily 17.5. If I'm super conservative, I can see about 18 miles to the gallon. And then again, this is on 35-inch tires with the stock 410 gears. The lift hasn't changed that for me, thankfully, not yet. So I haven't noticed any difference in my gas mileage. And again, I'm pretty conservative when it comes to my driving characteristics. So typically I'm cruise controlling it at about 65, 70 miles an hour max. And for the most part, again, I'm in the Central Valley here in California, so it's pretty flat and open. There's hardly any, there's really no grades or anything drastic that I cross. I don't cross any large passes or anything like that. So just strictly city driving, like on the weekends or anything like that, I get about 14 to 15 miles a gallon here in the city alone. And when I do fill up, it's about $70, and that's $4.05 a gallon. I just had to fill up yesterday, so that's pretty much what it's sitting at right now. And if I do for some reason forget or something, and the gas light turns on, so you know, pretty much empty, it will cost me about, I want to say anywhere from like $80 to $90 to go ahead and top that tank off again. Alrighty, next we'll go over some cost of maintenance and what it costs me currently to maintain my Jeep. Basically, honestly, it's just oil changes and filter changes. Again, thankfully, I have had no issues with my Gladiator. So when you first purchase your Jeep Gladiator or Wrangler, I'm not too quite sure if any of the other models come with it, but we got the Jeep Wave program with it, and that added about like 3 oil changes, tire rotations and stuff like that. So once that was over, I ended up starting doing my own oil changes and maintenance on it. And again, this, I believe, unfortunately, is going to vary between dealerships. The question is always if you do your own maintenance, is it going to void your warranty? Thankfully, in my experience, I haven't had that with the dealership that we chose to purchase our vehicles from and to conduct business with, and having them service our vehicles if for some reason we ever do need that dealership support. So thankfully we haven't had that issue. To add to that, since I started my own maintenance, I do keep a logbook, and then this thing you can just kind of pick up from Amazon is where I picked it up from. This is something that I kind of adopted throughout my military service. You know, whenever you were assigned a vehicle that you were in charge of, you had to conduct a PMCS, so some pre-maintenance checks that you had to do. So before, during, and after, and you had to keep a logbook of it all. And that was just kind of your thing that you were in charge of, to be able to keep up with the maintenance of your vehicle. And so I adopted that as well here with my Jeep, because I mean, I always tend to forget when I last did my, say, oil change or my tire rotations and stuff like that. So again, I like to kind of just keep that here in a little logbook. And then honestly, I'll also log like any little details that I've added, so any little modifications that I've done or big add-ons that I've done previously to the Jeep. So you know, like I'll have like my lift, the date, and the mileage, and then that way kind of I can always go back to and check about when the mileage was that I installed, say, my control arms, to be able to maintenance them appropriately. So with the maintenance, again, it's for my oil changes, so oil and oil filter, I go with Pennzoil Platinum that Mopar kind of requests that you utilize, and that costs me about $38 for the 5-gallon little jug here at O'Reilly's, or you can pick it up at AutoZone. I believe like Walmart and stuff, you can pick it up usually at a pretty good deal. I use the Mopar filters. I ordered those on Amazon, and they're typically about $9 to $10. Air filters, I go with just regular, you know, if not Fram or, you know, something like that you can pick up locally, or I ordered them on Amazon as well. Those are typically about $10 as well. I utilize USAA for my insurance company, and I am on a 6-month policy, and that 6-month policy is about $700 for the 6 months, and that's with having a $500 collision, deductible and then a $100 comprehensive deductible. So the last cost I want to go through is the big cost, you know, what it cost me to purchase this Gladiator. And so I got the window sticker here, and this again is for my Jeep Gladiator. It's a 2023 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. So if you can see here, base price was $51,245, and then once it was totaled up with all the bells and whistles that it came with, $64,770 is what the sticker price was. I personally wanted the Rubicon because I kind of just wanted it to have most of the stuff that I needed to be able to get me out and doing the trails that I want to be doing. So I like that it came with the front and rear locker. That 4-to-1 transfer case is ridiculous. Front sway bar disconnect as well, so you know you don't have to manually go out and disconnect the sway bar to be able to get that extra flex. And I knew that I was going to be lifting it and ripping out the suspension, so I really didn't want to do that to a Mojave, because when you purchase the Mojave, it comes with some like pretty well tuned suspension, you know, to be able to run out in the desert at high speeds. And that's just something that I didn't, you know, that's an extra cost that, you know, you're paying for in your package. And if I was just going to rip that out, you know, like it would have been you know, unfortunate. And so I do like the hood though on the Mojave. It's really nice, that little hood scoop. But either way, you know, that's honestly what influenced me purchasing a Rubicon trim level. Alrighty, and then just to go over a couple of little features that we have up here in our command center. I do like how they modernized the Jeep platform quite a bit. I feel like this is definitely, to me, it's a very nice dash. I do have the 8.4 Uconnect, and this is definitely a big upgrade because in our JO we do have the 7-inch, and that's honestly not too bad. But moving up to this guy was it was a big jump, and definitely a lot more luxurious in my opinion for me. But yeah, I like it. It's been flawless so far. I like that you can digitally kind of mess with your options for like your climate control. If you have like other little options in here, you can mess with that digitally on your screen or manually with a physical button that you can still push. So I think that's pretty cool. The auto stop function, I know a lot of people don't like that. I still have my auxiliary battery, and thankfully it hasn't given me any issues, and mine goes on automatically because I do utilize the Taser JL, the little programmer from Automotive Z, and that, you know, I think it's a video in itself, but that gives you a lot of features and kind of helps you make it a lot more customizable, you know, for settings all around the Jeep, really. Again, I think that's a whole another video in itself, because there's a ton of features that you can use with that. Your media center right here, you get a USB-C and then a USB port and then your aux. I typically just use the USB-C for the most part. And then right here I have a little cubby where normally if you had the optioned aux switches would be right here. You'll get 4 extra switches from factory, and then that kind of just sucked that it really didn't come with those aux switches, because that would have been cool. The shift knob is really nice. I like the feel of it. And then what's really cool on the Gladiators and the Wrangler, so on the Wrangler it'll have a little Wrangler symbol on there. And then if you can see here, I'll try to see if it focuses in, but you have a little Jeep Gladiator on the top of the little shift knob. So I think that was a pretty good, nice little detail that they threw on there. And besides it feeling good, I like that it's mechanical. Obviously it's not, you know, a little shift knob, or for some reason like a lot of vehicles are going to, where it's just kind of a button. And same thing for the transfer case. I like that it's an actual mechanical shift knob that you have to physically grab and, you know, throw it into for high or for low. And then your glove box, honestly, it's nothing too big about it, but it does give you some extra space to kind of put some little stuff in there if you needed to. You'll get your little toolkit that has everything that you need to go ahead and pop your top off and your doors. So that's pretty cool. Make sure that that's included in your Jeep purchase. And then you'll get your owner's manual, and then you'll get kind of like a quick starting guide, and it comes in this nice little cool green little topo bag, which is pretty cool. So it all stuffs in there. For the most part, Wrangler and Gladiator both utilize the same fob size, and then just depending on what features you'll get, you'll have the start stop, you'll have like the 4 button or the 3 button on there, and it's a pretty fair size. My hand's not the biggest hand, but it is pretty big in your pocket, so it's a huge fob. And then I know a lot of people tend to have issues with it just always kind of like kicks the key open, because you still do get a physical key for your front driver and your front passenger door. You can unlock and lock it. You can upgrade your key fob if you like. So I got this one from AJT, and pretty much you just take the guts out from your fob and then just slap it into this little guy right here, and it makes it a little more sleeker. Honestly, it's not that much flatter, but it's a lot more slim, and then you don't have to worry about that key pop it out on you. And if you need to, for some reason, you still have your physical key in there. Alrighty, so the rain decided to take a break, so I'm gonna try to hurry up and finish off the interior, going through and reviewing that, and then take a little walk around and review on the exterior real quick. But anywho, like I was saying again, leather seating. Again, like I said earlier, there was like a little discomfort that I had when I first purchased the Gladiator, and then I don't know, it was just primarily, it seemed like, with the leather seats, because again, referring back to our JL, it has the regular cloth seats, and they're by far a lot more comfortable, in my opinion. I wasn't really seeking out for a leather interior to be in particular, but I mean, when I ended up finding the color that I wanted with the tan seats, and it was the leather seats, I do like it because it's very easy to clean and maintain. When you come back from a trip and it's like dusted out, or even if you get some mud or anything like that, it's just a really quick wipe down of everything, and then you're pretty much reset and ready to roll into the next trip. To hit the point where I was having that discomfort issue with my seats, is that I kind of felt that I didn't really have a leg support down here, and it felt like you can't really tilt it or anything like that. These are all manual, so there is no like give you that little extra support where you can kind of like tilt or tilt forward. So I didn't have that extra support here for the leg, and it kind of just, on very long road trips, it would, I would have some discomfort. What I ended up purchasing was the seat jackers from Desert Does It, and basically it just adds like a little spacer down at the bottom of the front side of the seat, so that it'll tilt it back and give you that extra leg support. It'll be these little guys right here. If you're a taller person, you can Desert Does It, the same company, has a kit that you can purchase. I believe it's called like the seat slammers, and it'll basically slam it a little further down to the floor, and I think it might even pull it back a little bit so that you can get a little bit of extra space. But yeah, it'll lower the seat down, so that way you can definitely have a lot more clearance here if you happen to be a taller person. When you do purchase the Gladiator or Wrangler from the dealership, it will not come with a dead pedal. And again, you'll be surprised how much this little guy helps out adding a dead pedal to it. So this is an aftermarket dead pedal from Metal Cloak. Is honestly really easy to install. This also helps out on long road trips as well, to be able to kind of rest your foot or support. My Jeep came with the floor mat kit from Mopar. I mean, these things are really good and molded perfect to the bottom of the floorboard. I really like it. And then it has a little drain plug in case you do want to wash this down, or if for some reason you're in the snow. I have had it to where I've had to kind of like pull up right here, and then I just pull the plug, drain it out, kind of just move the water in there. Coming around, these are notorious for sagging. I do put stuff in there, so I tried to put lightweight stuff in there, and things that won't cause it to kind of sag any more than it does. But yeah, those will end up going too. So, but again, it kind of sucks that, you know, they go so fast, but there is so much aftermarket parts and trays that you can get here that you can kind of just replace them with later on if they end up going bad. The Rubicon models, and I believe the Mojave models as well, do come with the back piece right here for molly attachments, so you can use anything that's molly capable. And then again, you'll have your little mesh here. And then again, these are feels a little bit tighter than the door ones, but if you do start storing stuff in here, you know, they will start sagging. Kind of just like this one, you know, like if you take it out, you can see that it just kind of like bulges out. Surprisingly enough, it's still tight, so I'm kind of just gonna run them until they completely sag out. I do love that they have the vents back here. The Wrangler, I think for the most part, it doesn't matter what trim level you have, you will have the vents at a bare minimum. And that's really cool because, again, if you have passengers back here, you know, they actually have access to cool or warm air. And then not all models, you'll have to get upgraded models, but they'll have the USB-Cs, 2 USB-Cs and 2 USB connections, along with your 115 right here. So again, not all models and trim levels have this. Rubicons for sure will come with it, and then your Mojave, I believe, does come with it. And then some of your upgraded Sport S's and stuff like that. And then you got your rear window regulators back here. Back here you have a little more cup holder storage. So you have these two, and then this guy right here in the middle actually flips down, and then you have a little bit more storage. And then again, I don't believe that this option comes with all of them. I know the Rubicon does. My wife's JL Sport did not come with this option for hers, but I have seen some Wranglers, like some Rubicon models, that still have it even on the Wrangler models. So I think that's like a little upgraded version. And then your tie downs, if you want to put car seats or anything like that. So it'll have your 2 tie downs, and then your headrest, you can flip it down or up. A little tab back here, pull it up, and then your seat will lay down flat. So you can store stuff on top of here too if you want to. If you're not carrying any passengers or anything like that, and you want to put some gear back here, lay these flat out, you'll be good to go. Your third point of contact right here, and then back here you actually do have some little cubby space, so you can store stuff, some other little mesh pockets back here, and then like another little tray there that you can kind of set stuff in. So that's pretty cool. Flip it back up, easy peasy. The difference back here is when you flip this seat down, is that the storage compartments are a little different. This one actually has mine has a little cubby, you know, I just kind of store stuff in. You can get some models that actually have a little Bluetooth speaker that it kind of docks right here, and then you can pull it out and then have that as your little Bluetooth speaker to listen to at camp or while you're tailgating it or whatever not. But mine did not come with it. Mine just has a little cubby. My Gladiator did also come with the Alpine upgraded sound system, and so your subwoofer is right here. And I'm saying that was more of a need than a want, because in our JL we don't have the upgraded sound system. It just has your basic radio, and so it does have the 7-inch, but then the speakers on it honestly just trash. They're horrible. I mean, you can have them maxed out and then they just kind of crack. I think we've blown a couple of them out. It's been something that's been on our list for a while now, and hopefully we get to do that soon and add an upgraded sound system on hers. This one right here, though, honestly, I have no intentions on upgrading it. It sounds really good, the Alpine system. Alrighty, and again, I don't know if I had mentioned it prior or not, but mine did also come with, it's the proximity entry. And basically all that means is as long as I have my key fob in my pockets and I'm within distance, I can either lock it, or if I want to unlock it, I kind of just come up to it, hold the handle, and then it'll unlock it. So again, not a feature that I was looking for, but I'm kind of glad that it came with Alrighty, so real quick on the exterior, I kind of just go through it briefly, but yeah, definitely the Sarge green was definitely a must when I was out seeking to purchase my Gladiator, and I was thankful enough to be able to find it. If you do notice here as well, if you'll notice that the fenders are pretty flush. So these are high clearance fenders that they come factory from Mopar. And then I believe that the Rubicon models and the Mojaves do. I'm not quite too sure if any of the other submodels will come with it or not. But this definitely helps out if you're trying to put a 35-inch in there and still have plenty of room. Again, like I've stated in my previous videos, mine did not come with the LED package. So I did end up switching the bulbs out to LEDs, and then these are some aftermarket LEDs from Amazon. The stock bumper, it was just a plastic bumper with, again, the halogen fog lights. Those are still the housings from the halogen lights, but I did put some LED amber lights in there. I also do like my hood vents, or the way the Rubicon hood comes with. I think it looks pretty good. And then mine did not come with the top. I ended up getting it from Facebook Market. This is for Mopar. This is the Mopar soft top. So you can also choose to get that from the dealer as well. And then I believe they also have a hard top, like a little 3-piece hard top that you can kind of flip as well from Mopar. And you can go ahead and order that straight from the dealership or from the factory like that. And then same back here, I had those halogen, the box halogen lights. So again, I ended up switching them out to the Oracle LED lights. The bumper is metal, but I have seen these fold, so I don't know that I would trust this to take a huge beating, but I know it definitely beats having that plastic one. So this, stick around for now, and then we'll see about changing her out later on. And then mine did also come with the tow package, so you can get your 4-pin, and then I believe it's your 7-pin connector, and then your trailer hitch attachment here. So can't really give any feedback on the towing because I honestly don't really tow much or anything like that. Again, that's probably why I definitely was easier for me to get rid of my Cummins, because it's nothing that I was really pulling around here that I needed such a big truck for. And this again has the payload, I believe, is like about, I think like around the 7,000 pound mark. So I don't know that I would ever even tow anything that's 7,000 pounds, but if for some reason I did, I can do it. I think it'll be fine if for some reason I did need to tow something later on down the road. Mine also did come lined, and then it's nice to know that I can just kind of like toss things back here and don't have to worry about beating up and scratching the bed up too much. So I do like the finish on this. Mine did not come with the power outlet that goes into the bed. I'm honestly not too sure exactly what I'm gonna put back here, but I kind of do want to run some power back here in case I need to use. Again, I don't know what I'm doing with my bed yet. My bed's set up for camp and my overlanding experience. I kind of want to keep it light. I'm still ground tending it right now, so I am not too sure where this build is going to go to, but for the time being, I do want to just keep it to a bare minimum. Keep it light. All right, now to wrap it all up, I'll kind of just go through some cons and pros that I have. Plane should have came standard with the LEDs. I don't know why they decided to, even put the halogen lights. And then that seat comfort, again, I did not. It was something that was very uncomfortable, and I was kind of just like, oh man, I kind of regretted getting the leather seat package because I do know, again, that the cloth seats were comfortable, and I was like, man, I should have just gone with the cloth seats instead of the leather seats. But again, aftermarket support came in clutch, and there was a fix for it, and the Desert Does It little boosters ended up helping that and mitigating that issue. So now that and the dead pedal definitely helped out on the comfort side of things, so I was able to kind of fix that problem that I had. And then now for some pros, primarily pros, the fun factor of it just has not gone away. Whether if I'm going to work and back, and then that's just it. It's just fun to be able to get into this in the morning and heading out to work. It's a fun drive. Getting out of work, I just hop back into my Jeep and just cruising down the road, and that feeling of freedom is just, it's just there, you know, and it's intoxicating, and it's something again that just has not faded. And that safe feeling when I'm driving my Jeep, I know my wife feels the same way in her JL. You know, you feel safe. You know, you know that you feel protected. I've seen, you know, videos where people have gone into crashes, and you know the Jeep honestly looks like it's just untouched, and the car that hit it is just completely demolished. So I do like that I feel safe in it. And then the capabilities of it, again, you know, there's no truck out there, in my opinion, that has the capabilities that this has off-road. You know, whether you want to argue it or not, I just feel like you just can't beat it. So again, that's my personal opinion. Another thing that I do love is that, you know, the ease of maintenance and modifications, you know, that you can make to it. It's super simple and easy. It seems like throughout the years, they've honestly haven't changed much from the beginning of time till now. You know, yeah, they have added a lot more electronics and sensors and stuff like that, but for the most part, you know, to switch out your suspension parts and bleed your own brakes and most of your maintenance and whatnot, like it's really simple and easy to do yourself here, you know, in your garage space. And like you might have heard before, and I've said it myself, it's just a Lego, you know, it's just nothing but Lego parts that you're taking off and putting back on. It's just, there's nothing to it. Alrighty, and on my last pro, I just wanted to do it right, and that's culture and community. And I honestly don't feel like it just necessarily pertains to the Jeep community, but I just want to put that on overall off-road community. When coming into this, you know, yes, do we drive a Jeep? Of course, you know, but when we're out there on the trails, I personally don't mind what you drive, you know, as long as you're out on the trail and having fun with us, you know, I definitely welcome it, and I'll definitely tag along with you. And I really don't care on what platform you're driving. The off-road community is by far been really awesome. You know, they're always willing to help each other out and give you a hand. And if they can, you know, pass that knowledge down for sure. And if you're here in California, especially, you know, we have the Cal Four Wheel Association is kind of who we tagged along with at the beginning. You get the membership, and you know, you can see a lot of runs that they kind of like sponsor and host. So that'll definitely get you up and out, exploring your rig and trails, and kind of getting to know the off-road aspects and community, and kind of getting you those skills that you're going to be needing off-road as well. All their runs that they do host and make and whatever not, a lot of them are hosted by different clubs throughout the state of California, and it's pretty cool because, you know, it doesn't matter again what kind of build you have, whether it's, you know, completely stock or just on tons, coilovers and whatever not. They have a run for just about everybody. If I could do it all over again, me personally, again, Jeep Gladiator purchase, I'll make that purchase every time. I believe my wife will do the same with her JL. But again, so yeah, that's all I got for you. Until the next video, again, let me know if there's something that I have maybe missed, or let me know, you know, maybe your thought and opinions and experiences that you've had in the comments below. And hopefully everybody is having a great day and an awesome week. So take it easy. To the next one.